wasn't all these other Latin names which came from the Spaniards, the white European Spaniards. That's how you learn to speak the language. You're more African than I am.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you want to separate yourself. I'm going to help you out. So, back to 1741. Sisters, y'all need to get this out. This right here happened on that day. Somewhere around September 1741, they burned 3 slaves right at this site here at the Union County Courthouse because they said these 3 young slaves tried to overturn the plantation and kill the masters and rape white women. That was a lie, but they burned them anyway. They burned them to a crisp. They burned them and they let their bodies sit there for days and weeks. And then the white, I got white friends, but the white people, their neighbors in the area took parts of the body and saved it as souvenirs, including the skull.
I believe it.
I'm not making this up, this is real talk.
Yeah, man.
So my Latin brothers and sisters, I know I congratulate you on all the achievement you made here in America. And guess what? To this day, who represent you? Roz went to jail, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did Roz Baraka went to jail?
Yes,
What did Roz Baraka went to jail for? He was protecting the rights of many of what is our Latin brothers and sisters here in America.
That's right.
So don't separate yourself from your African brothers or your good white brothers and sisters. Because we in this together. You may think it's good, all right, but it's not. It's tough. Time's gonna get tougher. They're gonna be getting all these brown people collective, even the ones that's legally here. They're gonna be coming knocking on your doors and your businesses and rallying you up. But guess what? Who you think gonna step up? Salaam Ismial gonna step up and represent my Latin brothers and sisters. Salaam Ismial and people like Reverend Al Sharpton, including the Minister Farrakhan who spoke out against it, and many of other black leaders will speak up for our Latin brothers and sisters, even if sometimes they come short for us. I'm gonna tell it all. So we here to pay tribute to the 3 slaves that were burnt here in 1741. At this time we want Cynthia Hassana to grab the wreath, and you guys follow us to the sign where I read the sign as it was written. And we're gonna stay on time. Cynthia Hassan, you gotta put your phone down, grab the wreath, give that phone to the next person, and you guys come over here. You gotta lay that phone down, that's not important. Right now we gotta grab that wreath. You gotta put your phones down. Oh. So as we stand here, as the wreath, you gotta turn the wreath counter. Gotta put some of your stuff down. I'm gonna teach these women how to be soldiers. I gotta teach them how to be soldiers. Soldiers, put the stuff down, put the uniform up. Okay. That's MGT, right, Sister Queen? All right. And I just step away so people can take their pictures. At this site, folks, right here, y'all watch, everybody on Facebook and Instagram, at this site, right here, somewhere along here, the Sheriff William Chetwood, I'm gonna call out names, we got his name. Sheriff William Chetwood of 1741 paid wood to the freeholders, which now called commissioners of today, and they took wood and they put it in, they burnt it. They put a slave here on a stake, a slave here on a stake, and a slave here on a stake, and they burnt, while they're alive, they burnt it. And they burnt it, and you know how long it takes to burn a human body to a crisp? Probably a little bit better than an hour. To burn it to where you hear the bones crackle, crack, crack, crackle. And they brought their children around, and their wives around, to watch as this burning occurred. We went before the county. The county refused. 3 years it took us just to put this sign right here. And I'll read that in a second. But I want y'all to feel the pain. I want y'all to understand. How you doing, soldier? I know you got a story to tell. Y'all need to know this. You need to feel this. And I'm gonna start going in the Latin community. I'm gonna bring some of my translators. I'm gonna start teaching y'all something. I'm your leader. I'm your leader. Come over here. Come here, that Latin brother. Take this from right here. Help him up. Here, grab this. Grab this. There you go. Well, we're gonna make it permanent. A little wind. So at this time, I want to bring the pastor up. I'm gonna say a prayer, and we're gonna we still got a guest speaker coming soon. What time is it? After a little bit after 2.
Close out.
Well, he's gonna have to be on time. Y'all take a picture. Again, I'll tell you, these slaves had to been around 15 years old. The average slave only lived to 40. So many of them died in their teens and 20s and 30s just working in the field. Y'all complain about this 85-degree weather. Well, they worked in 10 degrees weather, picking cotton for no money, with a whip at their back, or a gun pointed at them. And y'all complain about spending an hour and a half in the sun. Stop it. And I'm gonna talk to the folks here on Facebook and what have you. You know, I'm not ready to call people out. In a minute, I'm gonna start calling you out. I'm old enough now. I got enough receipt. I'm gonna start calling the NACP out. I'm gonna call my National Action Network out. I'm calling the Urban League out. I'm calling the clergy out. I'm calling even myself out. That we need to do more to step up and make this thing happen. I'm gonna call my Latin brothers and sisters out because they don't really know their history. They engage in it as something, and now this country is flipping on them. Even though about 59% of some numbers voted for Trump. But guess who's gonna be your hero? Guess who your hero? Like always, Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing without the man." He said, "It never will. It never did, it never will. It will never just humble themselves because you ask." Who made up the word? It's always a demand. It took 3 years just for them to put this sign, and I'll read it. And it goes as it written. In memorial of the 1741 Project was what we created. And honoring the lives of lost to slavery as well as the struggle for freedom. The Union County Board of County Commissioners paid tribute to the 3 African American individual slaves who were tragically burned, morally, insanely, unjustifiably, criminally burned to death at the stake as slaves in the surrounding area, particularly this area, where our present-day Union County Courthouse stands to this day. This is they admitting their own guilt. In 1741, this horrifying incident occurred during a time when slave revolts were on the rise, and the fear of slave uprising among residents sparked this dreadful act. We would also like to acknowledge all those who suffered in the brutal hands of slavery, and recognize the enduring spirit and resonance of everyone who struggled for freedom and equality, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. Let us forever remember and honor their lives, as well as the countless others who were enslaved throughout history, all while bravely yearning for their own emancipation. And remembering all individuals who acknowledge the sheer history of our nation and commit ourselves to working towards a future where the legacy of slavery is fully acknowledged and the fight for justice and equality continues. That's right. We demanded that, and it happened. And we're not going to stop there. Behind this building is a tower where over 1,100 inmates used to stay every day. Mostly black and brown brothers, but predominantly black brothers and sisters they put there. Now they closed it down. They moved all the inmates, now goes to Essex County. But now they came up with something different. They're gonna sell this building back here, this jail, and now they're gonna sell it to a private prison owner to lock more black and brown people up in those jails and poor whites. I said hell no. So I'm launching a campaign to say that we turn that building into a museum and a hope for change. and a community cultural center that can benefit all the people here in Union County. How about that? Y'all with me? Y'all with me? And even if we have to go to the politician's home, let them know, y'all broadcast this. And if we have to go to your home, county manager, because I know you're the orchestrator of all this. And if you have to go to your home and knock on your door and say, hello, just preaching you some good gospel, just pray with you. So, at this time, I want to bring a young poet who I founded in 1985 by way of his mom. And he took on some of the likes of me, not as crazy as I am, but he do got my bloodline. And he written 2 or 3 poetry books. He's been on the trail since he was 3 years old. He's an activist out of the Brunswick area. I'd like to bring forth Anwar Omawali, Counts Ismail.
Let's go, bro.
Peace. Thank you all for coming out. This is a significant statue, monument that we have here. Learning about that lost history is something that we should all take heed of. If he said it took 3 years ago and it happened in 1741, that means it took almost 300 years just to find out. So, and you were trying to educate our Hispanic brothers on our history, but we still gotta educate ourselves on our history. Because I'm gonna tell you this from personal experience, I had no idea about that. And I'm waiting for that documentary. Gonna stay on your heels about that because we need to get that out there so people can consume it and learn it and share it. Just in respect to what we had going on earlier, you guys were calling out injustices and how black people have to be constantly here in the modern age still asking for our humanity, still asking to be treated like a human instead of less than. Hi, young people. How we doing? Yeah. So I got a piece. Go ahead. It's all right. That I'll share with you. It's called Black Humanity. Here's a thought of insanity. Can you imagine black people being treated with humanity? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bet you think that black man got a gun. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bet the man kill another black son. Under the sun, above the sea, on the land, a black man takes a stand in the sand, trying to make people understand when they don't really give a damn. I am what I am. That is human. Though you don't see me as that, all you see is my skin, which is black. Even for you to send an offensive attack, stereotype, to justify your prejudice crap. I'm sick of it, sick and tired. No longer taking it. Sick of the racist and bigoted rhetoric. Take your ego and get rid of it. Accept your privilege and do good with it. For years I had to moderate who I was so you would approve. Now I see need to be just me because I have nothing to prove to you or anyone else. I'm acceptable just being myself. Whether I'm black, eccentric, and different, my life is valuable enough for you not to end it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bet you think that black man got a gun? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bet the man kill another black son. Under the sun, above the sea, on the land, see the reflection of a beautiful black woman. She been torn down far too long. Because she survives, we call her strong. But she has so many more aspects to hold on. All you see is a hand moving as she goes on, raising her voice, making her point clear. You choose the viewer as a threat. Use your finger to point her out when cops near. What possessed you to have that fear? She's taken care of your families over the years. She's shown you example of poise and intelligence as a first lady with so much elegance. Ignore her will to sit still and hold her seat. Marching black and women's movements till she tore her feet. Yet you still find a way to batter and bruise her, verbally attack her even on the computer. Deny her magic, yet surprised by her actions. Luckily, she's not dependent on your satisfaction. Independent, marrying single black mothers. Know we gotta do better by them as black brothers. But we not taking that discrimination from others. We've already seen enough of your covers. Covers that spread, covers on beds, covers for those who bled, covers on heads, covers for the cover-ups that all the illegal that they did. We seen your white covers covering, hovering, bugging me. I'm bubbling from all the covering. About to explode, or is it implode? I don't know. I emptied my load, you thought it was drugs that I sold. All it was is grief that I showed. Enough for police to approach, the rest is left in your notes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bet you think that black man got a gun. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bet the man killed another black son. Under the sun, above the sea, on the land, black people everywhere, yes we can. And we will climb the hill, march past the racial standstill, break barriers, build bridges, not walls and landfills, shake hands, give hugs, show love, make our plans real. No quitting us, we ain't giving up. When times get tough, we get tough. We knock down just to get back up, backing our words up. With actions, history will stand up. On our side is righteousness. On our side is righteousness. If you want to fight this, know your true colors show once we flip the light switch. Stay in the dark while you hate what is dark. Here we supply you a spark, a torch, the fire enlightening a mark. See the message if you don't deny the truth. Black Lives Matter is a statement, not a terrorist group. Now it's a movement. Our moment has been extended to the new norm. America's in the process of changing her face to be reborn. Behold that, know that, we not fitting to go back. We will show you, you must at least respect black. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The black man is not a boogeyman, he's a black son. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mother Africa is the birthplace of everyone. Under the sun, above the sea, on the land, in the sand. Black man, black woman. Being black is being human. It's not insanity, it's black humanity. Peace.
Give that man round of astounding applause. Also, I want to bring on who I call one of the, again, I'm a little biased, one of the best DJs in the land, in this New Jersey land. Hire him. If you don't have the right DJ. Anyway, he's also an activist, my own neighbor, my brother, Guy Flash Thomas.
How y'all doing, everybody? I want to kind of, what we out here for, we don't have a big turnout, but that's all right because the people that's here understand why we're here. You know what I'm saying? We understand why we're here. And I don't want to put no shade on nobody else, Juneteenth celebration or anything like that. But during this time, we should be bringing knowledge to our people. And the biggest problem that we have as a people, and I want y'all to understand, nobody's knocking what the Latinos do, nobody's knocking what the Arabs do, nobody's knocking what any of these ethnicities out here are doing. Because what our problems and the problems that we have, they are solvable. But we will never be able to solve them if we don't have any unity. And I'm going to expound on what Sister Palmer said earlier, how we spend millions of dollars on sneakers and cars and throwing these lavish proms and all of this money that we waste, that we give to other people. And I always tell everybody, for us to have any type of unity, we have to have economic unity. Without economic unity, we don't have any power. Why should they listen to us if we're not bringing anything to the table? And that's the most important thing that y'all need to understand. Economic unity. I do house music Wednesday right across the street, right, at Dolce, right? My platform is open for stuff like this. Everybody in here has stepped in Dolce at one time or another for different events. You know, it's not about the music, it's not about the people, it's about unity. It's about bringing black people together, the same mind, same spirit, same fight. This is what we're about. We need economic unity. We have to support each other. When black businesses open up, we don't support them. No, we do. We go in there and we complain. Oh, the macaroni and cheese was too cold. Oh, my turkey wings wasn't hot. Oh, this and that and the third. We don't do that when we go to the chicken shacks. We don't do that when we go to Costa del Sol. We don't do that when we go to Falenca. We don't do that when we go to any other restaurants. We take whatever they give us and we take it happily, give them our money, and we take it home. But when it comes to black business, we'll find the most minute thing in the world to talk about to disparage that business. And y'all got to understand something with black businesses. I have explained this to my wife. And I told her, I said, the bodegas, the restaurants, and everything, it's easy for them to be able to bring costs down because they work as a collective, right? They work as a collective. So if you got 8 or 10 bodegas and you all buying from the same distributor, you know what I mean? So if you're buying Pepsi's or you're buying Wise potato chips or whatever, you're gonna get it at a cheaper price. So you can sell it at a cheaper price. For our black businesses, we don't get that. We don't get that. The distributor's gonna charge us more money. So in order for us to stay in business, we got to charge a quarter or two extra. We don't understand that. Oh, black businesses is too high. Oh, the service is poor. Oh, this and that and that. We got to get out of that mindset. We always looking to down each other. We have to have some unity. If you want changes in this country, we have to have unity. And I talk about this all the time too. I always say, you know, I always pose this question to different people. Does segregation help us or hurt us? All right? Does segregation help us or hurt us? But before they let us in J.C. Woolworths and all these Macy's and all these places, all we had was our own businesses, right? We couldn't walk into their businesses, right? But what that made us do? That made us stand up as people. That made us open our own businesses. Our neighborhoods had doctors, lawyers, grocery store owners, barbershop owners, restaurant owners. Everything was self-contained. That dollar circulated through the black community and it made the black community better. Everybody were homeowners. So what do? We rushed the integration. As soon as everything got integrated, what happened? We abandoned the black business. We couldn't wait to spend our dollar with them. Their money is not circulating with us. Now we live in a city that's 75, 80% Latino. Their money is not circulating with us. When we want some chicken and some fries, we went to the chicken shack. Their money is not circulating with us. They're not putting money back in our community. They're not investing back in our communities. You know what I mean? And this is how we spend our money. When y'all go to the Westwood and to all these catering places and you spend $2,000 or $3,000 to throw this extravagant birthday parties and all that, none of that money is circulating in our communities. So what do we need to do? Because, you know, collectively, we need to unite. Individually, there's a lot of black people doing well. We are, you know what I mean? But even with that, most of the people here that has a job or working either in a county facility, city facility, whatever, when you go into that work every day or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Monday morning, you can't have the same face you had on when you left your house. You got one face when you leave your house. When you go to that job, you got another face. We're the only race of people that got to have a mask on when we go to our place of employment. Why is that? We're not allowed to be ourselves because they don't want to learn about us. They don't care about us. Know how they learn about us? On ABC News, on CBS News, and NBC News, and what they talking about. You know what the narrative always is, and I talk about this all the time too. They'll say, oh, this man committed crime. They'll show a black man walking down the street, right? But they'll say he did some other crime. If you got a picture of him walking down the street, why you ain't got a picture of him committing the crime? Why don't you? Why you don't have a picture committing crime? Watch the news and pay attention. Pay attention when you watch the news. They always say a black person did this or a black woman did this, and they always got them just walking down the street or walking into a building, but they never actually have a film or a picture of them committing the actual crime they accuse them of. That's because they want to control the narrative of who we are and who we are as a people. We know who we are as a people. You know, a lot of problems that we have in our communities, we can solve them because some of my own problems. You know, some of my own problems. You know, they put these guns in these kids' hands and they out here shooting each other. They don't know anything about conflict resolution. None at all. They don't know how to, Martin Luther King used to say, we gotta learn how to disagree without being violently disagreeable, right? So we have to teach our kids. We gotta get them when they're young. It's up to us to teach them. We can't send them to school and expect the school system to teach them what they need to know to survive in this world. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do better, people. We got to unite. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Brother Guy. All right, we're closing out. But I want to, you're right, come here. I want to share something with you that's going to go public soon. Y'all listen. Because I want, certainly, my folks here. Listen up, y'all. 1991. 1990. I didn't get to call it 91 though. In 1990, a young 19-year-old was brought into Plainfield City Jail. He was beaten, ragged up, thrown into jail. The next day they found him hanging from a jail cell. They called me, I got involved in 1991. The same gentleman's brother, the police was always watching their house. They grabbed a young boy, he was 14 years old, and they choked him, almost choked him out. That 14-year-old is Uriah Hanna. He stands before me right now today. Okay. Now, his brother was the one that was hanged, we believe, now, after over whatever how many years, 35 years, we now found evidence that the police may have choked and hanged him in the Plainfield City Jail. We have evidence to prove that the Plainfield City Police Department should be charged with murder. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear about that real soon. We're bringing it before the county prosecutor and the state attorney general. So you're going to hear more about that. We had about at least 15 marches in Plainfield at that time, and we're going to turn it up again. So I just want to share with you, thank you, Brother Uriah Hanna. I haven't seen him in years, and I appreciate, that's how deep the receipts go. If you want to hate, the receipts go back to 1990 and 1991, where we dealt with police brutality, and we still fighting justice for Uriah Hanna and Santana Hanna. Thank you so much, brother, for standing with us. At this time, we're waiting for our guest speaker, but he was caught up in another event. We're not going to stay out longer because we do have a reception that starts at 4 p.m. right across the street upstairs. We're going to have food, refreshments, and more talk. I want y'all to hear about, wait a minute, as soon as I mention his name, he comes up. So he's about ready to join us, Larry Ham, who is the chairman of the most powerful, I say the most aggressive human and civil rights organization in the state of New Jersey. He's the chairman. He's been around way longer than me. I've been around for 42 years. This guy's been around like 50-something years. He's going to come and deliver us a final words or thoughts and conscience. And don't worry about his tardiness, because he probably went about 4 or 5 of these same types of events. So give him an astounding round of applause while he closes out. Our brother, our statesman, our leader, chairman of the People's Organization for Progress, the Honorable Lawrence Ham.
Thank you. Happy Juneteenth. You know, before I say anything about Juneteenth, I want to say something that I've needed to say probably for the last 4 or 5 years, but I've never been in a situation where I could really express it the way I want to. And that is, I want to say thank you to Salaam Ismial, my brother Salaam Ismial, who's been in the forefront of this struggle. I've known Salaam, I think I met Salaam not long after I came back home from school in around 1980. I think I met Salaam around the time of the first Jesse Jackson campaign, might have been 1984. And he was tearing down the house then, and we kind of up in age now, but he's still tearing down the house now. Give the brother a big hand. Salaam Ismial and his organization. Brothers and sisters, you probably heard a lot of speaking today, and it's an African day out here, right? It's about 94 degrees, I think my thermometer said in the car. But I want to say three things about Juneteenth. One, I want to talk about the price that was paid for our freedom. Two, I want to talk about the debt that is owed to the descendants of the enslaved. And three, I just want to remind folks that our struggle is not over. So we're here today to celebrate Juneteenth. It was June 19th, 1865, when General Granger came into Galveston, Texas. That's the part you hear. If you just listen to the popular narrative, you think that Granger rode into town by himself, got off his horse, and announced to the black people they were free. First of all, the black people knew about the Emancipation Proclamation before Granger got there. Granger came in to Galveston, Texas with 10,000 black troops. That's the part you never hear, do you? All you hear is that the Union came in and they told the black people they were free. The black people knew they were free. Granger had to bring 10,000 black troops with him because Texas was the holdout Confederate state. It was the state in which the last Confederate battle was fought. In fact, it was fought after June 19th. And the slave masters in Texas had no intention of just giving black people their freedom. So Granger came in with troops to enforce the law, which was the Emancipation Proclamation. Now let's talk about the Emancipation Proclamation, because all of us that went to elementary school, we learned that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Isn't that what they said? Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves. The first thing we gotta say is that the slaves freed themselves. The slaves was getting free before the Civil War. You know, there were over 400 recorded. So you don't learn this in high school, and probably not in your Black Studies course in college. There were 400 recorded slave rebellions in the United States. That doesn't count the slave rebellions that weren't recorded and other acts of resistance. Black people were fighting against slavery from the day that they started enslaving us, which was way before 1619. The first slaves coming to the Caribbean in the 1400s. I mean, you can use 1492 as the guide, because Columbus took slaves on his very first voyage, the one we learned about, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. He took slaves from the indigenous people there, the Taino and the Arawak, who were the indigenous people of the Caribbean, and the Carib, for whom the Caribbean is named after. We were resisting in Africa. Queen Nzinga fought against the Portuguese. When the Portuguese, before Columbus, you know that's where Columbus learned navigation. He learned it in the slave trade. He was a slaver. That's where he learned navigation. You know, so the Portuguese come down the west coast of Africa, and they're going into the continent, and they're enslaving people. Queen Nzinga, y'all heard that name, right? Because there's sisters walking around here now with the name Nzinga. I wonder how many of them know who Nzinga was. You know, we sitting on television, learned about Xena, the warrior princess. The real warrior princess was black, and that was Queen Nzinga. But there's no television show to tell you about Nzinga and how she resisted the Portuguese attempts to enslave us. We resisted in Africa. We resisted on the slave ships. They did make a movie about the brother Cinque, the Amistad, who rebelled on his ship, and eventually they got their freedom. So we were fighting on the ships, we were fighting on the continent, we were fighting here. We were always resisting, brothers and sisters. And this is important to understand, and we have to teach this to our children. And we don't have to wait for somebody to give us a Black Studies course. We can go to the Black bookstore, get us some books, take them home, and read to our children at night. If we would just read to our children every night about their history, they probably learn more than they learn the whole 8 years or 12 years that they're in public school. So anyway, back to the Emancipation Proclamation. What did it take to end slavery? It took a civil war. For hundreds of years, people had wanted an end to slavery. They debated about slavery. They prayed for an end to slavery. They had conventions to end slavery. They petitioned governments to end slavery. But what did it take to finally end the slavery? It took a war, the Civil War. And I bet they didn't teach you this in social studies, right? More Americans died in the Civil War than in World Wars I, II, Vietnam, and Korea combined. Almost 1 million Americans died during the Civil War. That's the price that was paid. These people did not want to give it up. Why didn't they want to give it up? Because they was making money. They was making money hand over fist. Have you ever heard, I know some of y'all in the stock market and everything, and y'all investing, y'all online, doing all your investment. Is there any business in which you can invest today and get a 1,700% return on your investment? That was the investment in slavery. For every dollar that they would invest, they could make that money back 1,700 times over. In 1860, the largest economic endeavor in the United States, larger than industrial capital, larger than industry and banking combined, was the business of slavery. And this country is rich today. It's the richest, most powerful country in the world today. Who made it rich? Our ancestors made it rich. Our people made it rich. 245 years, if we just talk about the continental United States, 245 years of stolen labor was the basis for the wealth that started the Industrial Revolution in this country. And they are rich because we made them rich, and it's time for this country to make reparations to African Americans who are the descendants of those that were enslaved in this country. Don't walk around here doing, oh, they don't owe me, and they owe you everything. They owe you everything. There's some black people walking around here. Well, we don't need no reparations. We just, look, if they gave reparations to everybody else, they should give reparations to us. They've given reparations to the Japanese. Did you know that? During World War II, the Japanese were interned in concentration camps under no less than Ronald Reagan. Reagan got a bill passed in Congress that $20,000 should go to every Japanese American family that had someone interned in the Japanese concentration camps in the United States. To this day, the United States government contributes to funds, reparation funds for Jewish Holocaust victims. And that didn't happen in the United States. That happened in Europe. Just Google it. You don't have to. The state of New Jersey has a Holocaust office. Bet y'all didn't know that, did you? If they can give reparations to the Japanese, if they can give reparations to Jewish people that were enslaved in concentration camps in Germany, damn it, they can give reparations to black people here in the United States of America. And when the issue of reparations come up, don't be a punk. Don't be you don't want your white friends, your white co-workers to know you stand for reparations. You know you're gonna go in the back, You're not going to be seen nowhere with Larry Ham or Salaam Ismial. No, be bold. It's a just demand. Reparations is a just demand that black people have. Right now, in the state legislature of New Jersey, there are two bills, A602, S3164. It would establish a reparations task force in New Jersey. It would set up a government commission to study the impact of slavery and make recommendations on what reparations should be made to African Americans. It's a study commission. Now this is a state where Democrats are in control. And I'm speaking now as a Democrat. I'm a registered Democrat. I ran in the Democratic primary for US Senate. So I'm a Democrat, so don't, oh, he must be a Republican because he criticized the Democrat. No, I'm a thinking person. Just because I'm a Democrat don't mean I stop thinking. Just because I'm a Democrat don't mean I can't be critical. I'm a Democrat. In this state where Democrats have a majority in the Assembly, a majority in the Senate, and a Democratic governor, as the governor of this state, we can't get the reparations bill out of committee. And black people are the most loyal Democratic voters in this state. There's no other demographic, racial or ethnic, male or female, that votes in greater numbers for Democrats than African Americans. And we can't even get a study bill passed. A bill just to study the issue. But you know why we can't get it passed? Because we don't hold these people accountable. We let these people come into our churches on Sunday and talk about elections and they running for office. The minute one of these people show up, you need to stand up and say, what is your position on reparations for black people? And if they ain't got the right answer, you shouldn't give them your vote. You shouldn't give them your vote. We gotta stop being mindless people that vote for anybody when it comes time. Everybody else, it's like sitting at the table, right? You ever go to Thanksgiving dinner? Nice table spread, grandma done made the food, ma done made the food. They set the table and you show up and everybody get fed except you. Them days are over. If there's gonna be a dinner, we gonna get some of the dinner. If there's gonna be a lunch, we gonna get some of the lunch. There's gonna be breakfast, we gonna get our bacon and eggs. Come on now. We got to stand up and make these people accountable. So Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation. First of all, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free all black people. It only offered, listen, it only offered freedom. You know, when they say you in school, right, and they tell you Lincoln freed the slave, and you be sitting there and you think like on one day, Lincoln said something and all the chains just fell off, and we just walked away. That's not how it happened. He wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. It offered freedom only to those black people that were in the states, the counties, and the parishes that were in rebellion. Now, what are they? How many of you have read the Emancipation Proclamation? If you send your kid to school for 8 years, and at the 8th grade graduation, they haven't read the Emancipation Proclamation, you need to go to the next board education meeting. I'm telling you, there's no reason why our children should go to school 8 years, 12 years, and graduate and never read the Emancipation Proclamation. All the states, all the counties, and all the parishes that were in rebellion are listed in the Emancipation Proclamation. But they didn't just get freed, they had to escape. They had to join the Union, they had to cross. Imagine that. You gotta escape from the master, you gotta get past the battle lines, and you gotta get to the Union Army so that you can join the Union Army. But black men joined the Union Army. 220,000 black men, can you imagine that? Escaped from slavery and joined the Union Army so that they could put a hurting on Robert E. Lee. Yes, they did. And whenever we have these Black History programs and Juneteenth, I never hear anybody talk about the black soldiers that actually fought and died so that we could be free. Nobody talks about the black soldiers. 60,000 black men died on the battlefield. 100,000 were wounded. That's what turned the tide of the war. That's the price that was paid for our freedom. That's the price. We must never forget that price. And we must never forget the debt owed to us. Reparations. Now, I'm not talking about a study commission. I'm talking about a check. That's right. Some people talking about, well, reparations shouldn't be a check. No, I want my check, man. Give me my check. $14 trillion they owe us. That's the calculation as to how much our labor would be worth right now. So the struggle continues. We got to keep fighting, brothers and sisters. When Salaam give the call, answer the call. We need to march, we need to fight back. Did you hear what Trump said the other day about Juneteenth? He said, why do we need a Juneteenth? He said there's too many holidays. Better think about it, because they might try to take June. They took everything out. The stuff that really means something, they took it already. They took affirmative action. They took DEI. They closed the civil rights offices. You know, they talk about they're going to reverse the 14th Amendment that came out of the Civil War. So they may reverse Juneteenth. But we're going to fight. We're going to keep fighting as long as it takes. Everybody say they stole us.
They stole us.
They sold us.
They stole us.
They owe us.
They owe us.
They stole us.
They stole us.
They sold us.
They sold us.
They owe us.
They owe us.
Thank you. Power to the people.
For a picture, that concludes us, at least this ceremony. But we got a lot of work. Larry, I mentioned right before you came here about, you remember the Santana Hanna case of 1990. We just got something just recently. Uriah Hanna, remember him? He was 14 years old when they police choked him. We just got some evidence, some clear evidence that the police may have been more likely involved in the murder of Santana Hanna. That's going to be, we're going to the prosecutor's office next week, and then we're going to be turning that up. So those of y'all want to take a picture with Brother Larry Ham, come and do that before you leave. Everybody come get. I don't mean leave the earth. I mean just leave here.
Zachariah Jackson, BASA News.
We want to make
Goodbye.
sure you see the sign in the background and the